Hello everyone. So today we are back at the other location. This is the one that I did the underground bunker to. Um, and today we are going to build a portal hub. Um, so I am in creative mode. Um, I would recommend not doing this one uh, until very early or very in game, or you're going to wind up doing a lot of grinding for resources because we're going to use some black marble. We're going to use a bunch of iron. Um, we're going to use so much iron. So this is one that I would recommend either doing in creative mode or after you've done a lot of grinding for iron and black marble. So now the black marble is not absolutely necessary. I've done this without the black marble. But the one thing about the black marble is this. So first off, it's very similarly shaped to the pillars that are at the elder base. So the shape is very, very much the same. And you can snap a beam dead center of these, what are these called? Excuse me, black marble columns. Okay. Now I use the big one because it fits better. I suppose you could use the smaller one and it would fit fine. But I like the way the bigger one looks. But you can snap dead center, which helps with the placement of putting the iron supports in. Because once you get that centered like that, it goes into the acorn that's on top of these pillars and provides you stability for your build. So, having said that, I would again recommend either doing this in creative mode or doing it very, very end game when you've done all the grind and have extra resources to burn, because it is very resource heavy. If you've seen the thumbnail for this one, you will see that it can be quite a dramatic build. The one that I'm putting as the thumbnail for this one is very dramatic. I have done it far less dramatic, less detail, less bits and pieces and whatnot. And I am just going to show the basics of building this. I am not going to build the entire thing for you on camera for the simple fact of the time. Like, it takes quite a while, especially to build one as elaborate as the one in the thumbnail. So once you have your iron beams centered on your columns, go ahead and figure out how high you want this to be. I want this to be another 3 above where I started here. Now, one of the things that you'll find with these is that even though we're fairly well centered on our columns, these are not going to perfectly match up. And I'll show you here in just a moment. For whatever reason, I've never gotten these lined up exactly right by putting them on the column. I can do one centered and then use beams to place the others. But as you see, this does not match. Do you see that? Even though that looks like it's perfectly centered on that one, or as close to perfectly centered as I can get it. It does not match perfectly. I've never ever gotten these exactly right. And you'll also see, do you see how it hangs out further this way as well? So I've never ever, by placing the beams on the columns first, ever gotten these perfectly aligned. Not for lack of trying, but if I run this one over here, you can see they're all a little bit off of each other. They don't perfectly match up. So your options here are to deal with a little bit of it being off, or you can do what I've done in the past, and that's put one pillar down, okay, and then use the beams to then place the other ones. What happens with that is that you pick the one that you feel like is centered the best, of course, and then you take and run your support down. And what will happen is that your, let's use this, your placement will be like off to one side, sometimes very close to the edge, like here, like that. So it'll be very close to the edge, and sometimes you might see pieces of the beam, the support beam, sticking out through this black marble. If you choose to use black marble. Like I said, I've never gotten these perfectly placed by doing them off of the columns, even though I feel like I get the black marble fairly well centered as best I can on these. It never comes out perfectly straight. So the options are to run the beam off of one that you feel is perfectly centered, or as centered as perfectly as it can get, and then run your beams around. I usually, what I do when I do that is I start from the bottom and run it across, because then I immediately connect to support down here. Otherwise you have to run something up and connect like I've done here, so that you have something to connect to at the top, whether it's correctly placed or not. So those are the options. The other option is when you get the one that you're going to go off of. So I'm going to use this one as my starting point. What you can do is run your iron from this corner, and when you get to the other corners, let me do the snap here. When you get to the other corners, you just basically ignore where the beams are and just use this as your, I apologize, I don't know what's wrong with my voice right now. Use this as your, what you're going to build off of. So those are your two options. You can build off of the beams, the iron beams, or you can build off of your cages. I found it makes for a cleaner end result by using the iron cages as my my support versus trying to go off of the iron beams. So that's what we're going to do. Now, having said that, I'm going to run the iron beams as if I'm going to build the entire thing for this, but I'm just going to do one side here, because the video would be very, very long if I did the entire build on camera for you. We're going to go out about that far. We'll go one more down this way. Now I like to build it 2 outside and 1 on the inside, but if you want to put a courtyard, as in the video thumbnail, basically what you're going to do is fill in this entire area with the iron cage if you're going to do a courtyard. Now I have done quite a few where I didn't do a courtyard, but the thumbnail video or the thumbnail picture, you can see that there is a courtyard on this build that I did for the thumbnail, and so I'm going to show you. You just carry this across, oops, for the entire thing, going 2, not 1, 2 out from the starting point, and that gives you enough room to put portals on both the interior wall and the exterior wall. Alright, so now we've got 2 out and technically 1 in, because this is going to become the courtyard. So then you can use iron beams for this, and I recommend if you're going to use stone, which I used in the thumbnail version, that you use iron in here, because you're going to create a grid that will support your iron if you're not going to use stone for your courtyard. This iron beam is not necessarily required for that part, and I'm going to connect them to give them further support for the center, like so. Okay. And you can also do iron on the outside if you have those resources to do it. You can do iron for the outside. You're not going to go very tall, so iron on the outside is not really necessary, because you're only going to go up, well, you're going to go up 3 meters for the walls, and then have the roof come off of that. So you're not going to go up very high from the floor level. Now, I like to put the wood covering the iron. If you like the way the iron looks without wood on it, go ahead and leave it. If you are like me and you prefer the look of the wood, then do that. So whatever one you choose to do. Also, I would, if you're going to do the grid stone, I think the wood covering these beams looks very nice as well, and that's what I did for the thumbnail one. I put the beams and then put the wood covering the beams for that. This kind of gives you an idea. Again, not so much so that you need to, like, you have to follow me exactly. This is not a necessary part. Like, it doesn't make a difference whether you do or don't. So we have that. Then we're going to go 1, and then every 2. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice today. I apologize. So go 2, 2, and then you'll find when you get to the center, you're going to have a space that's just 1 wide. So you've got, hold on, wait a minute, 2, that's 3, that's why. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? No, that's 3. 2, 2. Oh, see, I got 3 on this one too. Goodness, I can't count apparently. So 2, 2. And then, oh, goodness. Oh my goodness, I can't aim today either apparently. Alright, so you'll find space 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then there'll be 1 in the middle. And that's how it comes out most of the time for me, is that spacing. And these, again, like, it's not necessary that you have to have iron for these, because we're only going to go up 3 meters like this. So if you choose not to use the resources for it, then it won't make a difference in the long run to how the build is, how stable the build is. Okay. Then, once we get, oh, that's all right. Once we get our beams for the walls up, we're going to put the interior roof support up. And you're going to want to do the same method on the inside here as well. Let's see. So this is where we want it. So and then this, and we're gonna go 2, and then 1, and then we're gonna go 2. Okay. Oh, I should set the time of day. I just realized how dark it was getting. It's probably very dark on screen. Oh, I apologize. Should have done that at the beginning. There we go. Now we can see again. Okay. So once we get all of that in place, we will next do beam running horizontally all the way around this. And again, this doesn't have to be iron beams. It can be just wood because, like I said, we're not going particularly high. Alright, and then I like to do an overhang both on the interior and exterior part of this. So we're going to go 1 meter out. Trying to go as quickly as possible so the video isn't ridiculously long here. The first video I recorded trying to show this, the recording apparently went long enough that it shut itself off. But I did a lot more than half of it, so it didn't like my length of recording. And then the second time I did it, I got it where it fit all in one recording, but I messed up the beginning And so that didn't work. So hopefully third time's a charm. And we can get this recorded for you guys. Alright, and then we're going to do 1 meter. On the interior here. Alright, and then run our interior pieces here. Alright, so sorry about that. Finish putting these interior pieces in here. Like that. Now, once we've got those on, we're going to go ahead and put our roof on, and I'll show you how I do the roof. Normally I do the floor first, but we're going to do the roof first on this one, because the flooring is less important. In this instance. Almost there. Oh, that's not correct. That's not correct. Oops. You get the wrong one. What did I hit? Alright. So, now that our support for our roof is on, for the corners, I like to do the 45°. And it'll only be on the 4 corners. And the reason for the difference in the roof heights is for ventilation. So, because I'm up so high, I didn't really want to take up the space to put in a hearth or a fireplace of any sort. So I tend to go with the braziers for these portal hubs, and that's what I usually use these for, portal hubs. And so, because I'm using braziers, I'm still going to need a ventilation, but with the difference in the height between the 45 and the 26 degrees, I get enough space that I get adequate ventilation for this build. So we're going to go that far. And then we'll do there and that. Alright, and I like to run a beam along the roof line here. I think it looks nicer. Alright, and I will be putting beams on the edges of the roof. So then for the middle sections here between the roof, I like to use the 26 degree, and I should, before I get too far, figure out how far out I need this to go. Alright, so one more. So for the middle part here, I use the 26 degree roof pieces, and the space between the 26 degree roof and the 46 becomes really obvious here in just a moment if I can get these lined up. And it gives, because you're going to do the 45 degrees on all four corners, the smoke travels along in either direction towards these corners, because you'll have a corner, an opening here and here, and so the smoke will travel along the roof up there and then out. So you're going to have your brazier hanging, say right there. That's where I usually put them. And then so the smoke will travel along the ridge of the roof there and out that opening. And even with the trim, the 26 degree here and the 45 there, you still get plenty of ventilation. Hello. You don't belong there. You get plenty of ventilation for your braziers for the smoke. So I'm going to go ahead and do this corner again over here. So we're going to go 2 here, 2. Oh, that was a safe leg. 2 here. Oh, come on. No. There we go. Alright. And then we're going to put in our 45 degree roof pieces. Like this. Now, this is how the entire roof line will go. So you'll have 4 corners with the 45 degree roof pieces, and then the center between those will be the 26 degree. Like that. Now I'll trim it all out and dress it up a bit. Now as for flooring, there's only one thing I'm really going to tell you about how I do this particular part of the flooring. So you could just snap in your wood pieces, but I like to take and raise them up so they are completely flush with the beams. And there's a couple of reasons why I do that, especially for this one that I had in the thumbnail. The iron grate here on the one that I did in the thumbnail and the one that I'm showing you how to build, the center part in here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. It has a stone floor, so this will be stone, and it has a block pattern. And so the block pattern that you get from the iron grates, oops, that's not right. The block pattern that you get from the iron grate, or the iron cage floor here, is also a block pattern. And so the combination of the two being visible is really nice. So the reason why I do the floating floor instead of having it just clip naturally in is the wood doesn't show from the bottom, so you can fully see the squares underneath, which for this particular build wound up being quite nice. So for the center part here, if you choose to do a courtyard, and if you choose to do it with stone, which I am doing in this instance, one of the ways I do that is I put down a block, okay, and then I change my snap point to a top snap point. Let me zoom in here a bit. Choose to switch it to a top snap point, and then I will take and shift and place this so that it is, I gotta back up a bit, so that it is just, alright, fine, it's not gonna let me do it there. I want it just the height of this. Alright, so the reason I'm using the block that I put down is I need a measure to show how, I guess, far into the wood that I need to clip this. So if I clip it there, see how this edge lines up right here? This edge. I need that to line up because otherwise the placement will clip weird on the other side. If I push it up against, say the take it off of the snap points here. Alright, so if I take and manage to get it to clip at the right height with this, so I'm pushing up against that wood, you see the slight difference? That'll translate all the way over there, and so it'll be slightly different. So that's why I use the block to measure how far to push this into the wood to get it where it would naturally snap so that it doesn't overlap on the other side. And then once you've got a block placed, then you can go ahead and place the rest of your stone. So for extra support and to add a little extra pizzazz to this build, what I did for the lower part here is, now that I've got the stone clipping down, I will take, and I used iron to provide the extra support, and I clip it to the bottom like that, and that should go up inside the beam that's above, okay, and I did cover all of this with wood like that, and then I created a block grid like this to support the stone underneath. Alright, so all of this had extra support under here, and then this was then on the four corners. I took the stone. Oh, you're in a weird spot. I took the stone. Oh shoot, wrong button. Alright, so then I took the stone all the way over here like this and ran another beam up into that like so, and did this across the entire interior courtyard that I had done in stone, just to make sure that I didn't have this collapsing layer on me. And I covered it all in wood. So you have that square pattern emulating the square of the cage. And I thought that looked quite nice together. So that is essentially how I build my Elder portal bases. One of the neat things about building this base is the pillars down below are indestructible. And so you're safe from quite a lot of the ground raids. I would not do this before you've summoned the altar, or the elder at this altar. I would wait until after you've summoned the elder, because he can reach the tops of these pillars that he has here. So for the walls, you can do this any way you want. I will show you the way I did it for the thumbnail. I have used dark wood dividers on the upper parts of these before. I have used like a wood 1x1 grid. I have used the iron grates on the upper part here. So anything that you really want to do for the walls. I've even used a lot of glass. If I can hit the right button, that would be helpful. I have even used just glass. For the one in the thumbnail, I did use the Burger wall pieces for my build, and then I trimmed them out. Oopsie. Then I trimmed them out in like wood, and for the part where there's the one section like this, for the one in the thumbnail, I used glass. So you can choose to do a variation for the centerpiece like I've done here, or you can choose to make it the same as the rest of the build, whatever you want to do. So that's how I did the wall for it. This is how I did the floor. This is the... Okay, you're not right. This is the method of the way that I did the stone for the build that's in the thumbnail. And for the columns, there are a myriad of ways that you can do the columns. For the thumbnail, I did take the black marble. I ran it all the way up to the joint here, and I took first I put down these. I took and used the shift button, and I placed them so that they were, and I need to change the snap point. I placed them so that they were right at the bottom of each side of the black marble, so that they were lined up. Come on. Every time I get on camera, I kid you not, something gives me a hard time. And I guess this is what it's going to be for this one. So I place them. Oh my lord, why do you want to give me a hard time right now? I place them so that they line up. I'm going to trick this right now. I'm going to go like this. So I'm going to put the wood flooring at the bottom of the black marble to give me a point to force the wood into the correct piece or placement, because it doesn't want to do what I want it to do. So, yeah, do like that, and then okay, it's not going to even work that way today. Okay, fine. We will put it at the bottom, like this. Push up against that, and then we will just work our way around this way. That's a saying, where there's a will, there's a way. Alright. And then use that. There we go. Slide these in so that they're lined up. On the corners. Alright, and then once I had these in place, and this video is getting very long, I do apologize, guys. Alright, so once I get these in place, okay, put that there, change the snap point, get rid of that one. Alright, once I get these in place, then what I did next was I got the placement for the, okay, fine, do it again. Okay. Once I got all these in place, got them all nice and lined up with each other, I've got the placement for the, oh, I went off somewhere. I went off somewhere. Is that even in the right spot? Okay. Now I can see. Yeah, somebody's off somewhere. If I wind up off like that, then I just go back around until they start matching up again. Because eventually I'll find the spot where I'm off. Or I'll get close enough I can live with it. Alright. So then once I got those in place, what I did to get the placement for the vertical beams going up the black marble is I took my 1 meter pole and I did it from, get that out of the way so I can see, went from the bottom, and I'm looking at this flat surface here on the black marble, which these should be very close to the same placement. And I went from the bottom, and I found the spot in the center, so that just pokes through so I can see it, right? Place it in the center, and I did that all the way around. And then I can take my darkwood poles and I can snap them to them. And that is how I got the beams all the way up. And then for the lower part, what I did was, now that I've got these in place, I can take my 1x1 wood wall and I can snap them to them and carry them all the way down. So that's what I did for the thumbnail version. I did the black marble all the way up. I did the dark wood poles all the way up the sides of the black marble. I carried the 1x1 wood walls all the way down the pole, and at the top of this I did basically the same pattern with the wood. So once I got the, I guess I'll show you real quick. I can show you real quick. All right. So let's grab this out. We're gonna snap it to like that. So I carried this all the way up to the bottom here, and then I put these 1 meter wood beams, and I went down 2, and then I placed these all the way around. Oh, character, get your head out of the way. Placed these all the way around like this, so that they're just below the line of the black marble. Character's head in the way all the time. Alright, so like so. All the way around. What is going on there? That looks weird. That looked very weird to me. I don't know why that looked so weird. No, I don't want that. I need that. Huh, do you guys see that? How weird is that? Look how much of a difference that is. Okay. So, again, you can use the chick with the wood. See, that one's off too. Alright, take the wood and do the same trick that I did on the lower one. Use the shift button, place the wood flooring. And that'll get you your point to snap to. Or not snap to, but push your poles to the correct placement. Beams to the correct placement, whatever they're called. If they don't want to do that, then you just go like that, change the snap point, and boom. Okay, so once you get those all the way around, what I did for the next part was I took the darkwood arch and I used the snap point of the bottom, okay, and I did this shift because I don't want these clipping through up there, is the reason for this particular adjustment. So shift, and then I put them about halfway from the top to the bottom width of this beam. and I place them here. Now these are going to basically coincide with the placement of these beams. So these will come up behind it, and so your 1 meter beams are going to be in front of it, like roughly this. I'm just going to place it real quick to show you. So that's going to be like that, and these are going to be basically in front of it, like this. So they're going to be about halfway down that beam. So they're going to be in front of it. So they're not actually contacting the floor. Let's see if I can get close enough so you can see here. So they're not actually contacting the metal above it. So don't do that because they were clipping through too much. So if you put them down like this, then they don't clip through, and it gives you a little bit extra depth here. Anyway, that's real quick how I did the columns on the picture in the thumbnail. So now I think I've shown you all of the bits and pieces structurally wise that I did for the build in the thumbnail. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer all your questions. But that's it for this video. I hope you have a good one wherever you are in your day.